Got a pen for me, Bobby, please? Thank you. See what we got here. Appreciate it. Thank you. What's happening, everyone? Yep, it's therapy session. Here we go. Here we go. Thank you. We'll see if we roll into that. You know, I normally just rant, and we end up getting to that. Yeah.
Eric Allen's cute.
Good. You know, we probably want to play the coach, a portion of it. How long was he? He went before Eric Allen. I mean, Eric don't have a cute. I'm not going to hit it in the monologue. That's something. Yeah. Yeah. Why is that? Okay. What do you say? Hope everybody had a good weekend. Yes, it was my birthday weekend. It was fun. F1 was great. I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. Well, it's easy to rip on a coach. A lot of people want to do that who are in the media. Yeah, I think so Bobby, we're off on Thursday, correct?
We are. We're off Thursday and Friday.
We're off. They're all Raiders play on Friday. So are you running that game? Are you running that game, Bobby?
Yep, I got Golden Knights.
Okay.
UNLV Thursday, Golden Knights Friday and Saturday. And I got them tonight to play in Philly.
Here or on the road?
On the road.
Okay.
As soon as I'm done with this show, I got to dial up Philly.
Dialing up Philly.
Big fucking fun.
Is the official cognac of the JT the Brick Show. When you're celebrating any of your team's victories, celebrate with Remy Martin Cognac.
All right, let's have a good Thanksgiving week. Teams out of it. Teams long out of it. There's a lot of other teams I'm going to talk about.
Have you ever felt like the odd man out at a friend's house watching a game? After years in the sports betting industry, I can teach you the rules of different sporting events so you can now be part of that crowd of cheering fans.
Yes, it was a good weekend. Raiders are getting bull rushed. Yeah, they are. Well, Raiders are the last team to beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Am I correct on that? Yeah. Thank you. Let's do a radio show. That's what we get paid to do. It's a job. It ain't a podcast. It's a job. They tell me.
Sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes up off the middle.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 20 years.
Yes, here we go. Out of the gate, JT, Thanksgiving week. Hope everybody's having a great week. Holiday coming up. Raiders play Friday, so that is Black Friday in Kansas City. So we got a short week here. We got a lot of work to do here over 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're off Thursday for Thanksgiving, and then we have a game on Friday. I like the schedule this week a lot because I think I'm spending Thanksgiving with the family is always important, and then having a game on Friday and then off all weekend. So I'm going to have a lot of fun this week. Hopefully we have a good time here on the radio, considering the situation with the Raiders record, but I'm talking about other teams too. I'm talking about the entire NFL. Okay, that's it. That's the pivot. The pivot for me is Raiders content galore. Look behind me on YouTube. You got a Raider flag. You got Raider Nation Radio. You got a Raider flag. You got me wearing a Raider pullover. You got enough Raiders. You got it from me. I got it all. But I'm going to be moving on here. We're moving towards the playoffs. We're moving towards these primetime games and all of that. Vegas Golden Knights, breaking news whatever happens. I love the NBA, and we're going to talk about UNLV and their push for the college football playoff. So that's what I got. I hope you join in. I hope you watch the show on YouTube, JT the Brick YT, as we're building up that number. Real impressed with that. And I will interview the head coach on Wednesday. We'll have Antonio Pierce on Wednesday. Hey, quick update. Eric Allen, the Raiders just made him available. EA just gave a press conference at the Raiders headquarters after Antonio Pierce did today. It was fabulous. I sat in the car and listened to most of it. We're going to either play that today or I'll play it. We'll find a way to get that in. It's too important. I'm Eric Allen's partner, have been for years on this TV gig that we have and what we do on the Raiders pregame show from the Torch every week. We're really trying to get this push going. And thanks to the Raiders for making him available today for the media. And that's going to go viral because it was fantastic. He gave a lesson on football and playing defensive back. It was really riveting. If you didn't get a chance to hear that, I definitely want to hear what you have to say on that. So the aftermath of this, I went to F1 on Saturday night. So it was a late Saturday night, man. They got to change that. I understand why they have a late race. I get it. It's got to be on in Europe. It's got to be on internationally. Too bad. It's in America. You got to put that thing on at 7 or 8 o'clock at night. It gets dark early. Everybody can watch it with the lights. If you live in Europe, you can put it on DVR, wake up early with some waffles and some French toast. You can't put that thing on at 10:30 at night. You can't. It's just too late of an event. And I'm a late night guy. I'm the late night guy. I'm the guy that goes to bed 1 or 2 in the morning. And man, was it, it was good getting out of there. We got out of there. I got a secret Uber lot that I get in and out of pretty easy. But that was a late night and a quick turnaround to get to the church for the Raiders and the Broncos there. But if you went to F1, if you watched it, if you're talking about that at all, there was definitely a better difference from year 1 to year 2. No debate. It was much better year 2 than year 1. So if whoever went to it, was ever trying to get tickets, it was more accessible if you wanted to get in at a cheaper price, depending on what you were able to do. It's a big deal. And for those who think it's going away, it's not. We're talking about billions of dollars. The rodeos here, F1's here, the Super Bowl's here. None of these sports are going anywhere. It's too expensive. We are able to do it because we have all the hotel rooms. Does it get trafficky? Yes. Is it tough to get around? Absolutely. Is it difficult for the local workers who have to work at the casino corridor properties? Absolutely. And I'm sorry for that, but F1 is a monster. It is a monster when it comes to a corporate entertainment event. It's like 4 Super Bowls. Every Super Bowl, there's 1 Super Bowl party. This one has 11. And it's too much. It's too much money to let it go away. Look at the paddock. Look what they paid for the dirt just to build on the paddock and build the structure that's bigger than some of the casinos here in town. So if you went to F1, if you want to blank and moan about it, we're a very good town. Vegas is very good. We've had radio people and media people for years here who complain about money coming into town. They don't bring in any money, the people that complain, but they complain about money coming to town and teams coming to town. Money talks in Las Vegas. F1 is global. It's a super economy. People are going to come here for it, and we'll see what you think about it. 702-365-9200. So this is the aftermath of the loss to the Denver Broncos. 7 losses in a row. The team is done in regards to playoffs. Any opportunity to get hot, run the table, that's gone. That's over. So the Raiders now are playing out the rest of the schedule. I haven't had to deal with that for most of my 27 years here with the team. Normally, even when they're average, and they've been average a lot, they're always in the hunt mathematically until the last 2 weeks or a week. Never do I recall since the 2-win season are we talking about a team that is eliminated, not involved, not going to be able to win many games down the stretch. And that's going to be difficult on me because, as you know, I care about winning. I care about everybody having the experience of winning, having a great time. Everybody I saw at the Torch at the game wanted to win that game against Denver, as in everybody. Everybody I saw at least wanted to win the game. And the Raiders had a chance once again to win the game. They had the lead at the half. They had the lead in the third quarter. Yada, yada, yada. We continue to say this. They're in the game. Were they ready to play? Check. They were ready to play again. Does that help Antonio Pierce going forward? Yeah, it does, because the team is together. The team is not fractured. The team isn't broken. The team isn't pointing fingers, and they're ready to play, and they play with the lead and are in a lot of these games. But the story of this season has been twofold. Number one, the injuries are devastating. The injuries, and the Niners had a lot of injuries. If you saw the game in Green Bay, the Niners could barely field the team, and they're better than the Raiders. But we're talking about the Raiders here. The Raiders are decimated. Everybody's hurt. Gardner Minshew broke his collarbone. He's gone for the year. We wish him well. I'll get to Gardner coming up here in a little bit. So the team is hemorrhaging injuries. And these are injuries where guys aren't coming back for whatever reason. You know, usually in the NFL, you get injured, you come back in 2 weeks. We got to let guys on IR. Guys are hurt. Is that an excuse? It could sound like an excuse. Excuses die. The record stands. This team is severely injured. They don't have enough good players. When they're at full strength with Malcolm Kuntz, Marcus Epps, Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby, and Nate Hobbs, Jacorian Bennett, if they're 100% healthy, which you hope would happen, this team would be in the playoff hunt on the outside looking in, but they'd be in a situation like Denver or maybe a game behind Denver. They wouldn't be ravaged and have this record. Number two, the problem with this team is they cannot recover from any big mistakes. When anything bad happens, they crumble. The team just falls apart whenever there's a big play that goes against them. Normally, a Gardner Minshew interception, the team just sinks into a hole and the game is over. That's unfortunate. They have the worst turnover differential in the league. The last time a team was like this was an 0-16 Cleveland team in regards to this turnover differential. So the Raiders are fortunate enough to win 2 games. And then the elephant in the room is the draft coming up in April. You know where I stand on that. If you wanted to call in if I like a quarterback or not, that's fair. The Daniel Jones stuff is real. It's real in regards to an NFL topic from Adam Schefter to Ian Rappaport. I've been highly critical of Daniel Jones, highly critical of his play. I watch more of his games than you do. I do. And Daniel Jones has been a very difficult quarterback to watch. That being said, he's one of the best citizens, one of the best teammates in all of football. They love him in New York, New Jersey. Everybody, every teammate that's played with him says the guy's unbelievable. He's a leader. Is he an obvious consideration for the Raiders? I think the Raiders should look at him because he'd be better than the quarterbacks on the roster. But most Raider fans don't want to hear about upgrading the quarterback position because many want to lose for a mythical draft pick who we don't know that's going to be. But I understand that. I've been struggling with that topic for well over a month here. I'm going to kind of start to stop struggling with that topic because, A, I'm not going to talk about it on the show. I just think it's terrible radio to talk about something in April with someone we know we're almost 80% not going to get the player you want. How's that? Almost 80% we're not going to get the guy you want. So I'm not going to waste your time with 80% throwaway radio. Just don't do that. I've been taught how to do radio better than doing candy bar rankings and movies and talk about draft picks in April that we're not going to get. I had a little bit better mentors and people teach me about radio. So I'm going to go the way I go. And I think that works good with our partners here on the show. But that being said, we all know the Raiders need a quarterback. We hope Aiden O'Connell. How would you like to be Aiden O'Connell this week? We want to talk about getting thrown in the fire. This guy hasn't played in over a month. You're going to throw him into the fire against Kansas City, where the offense now wants to pass all the time, and Kansas City's going, please, pass all the time. We will come after your quarterback. So if he's able to go, I wanted to see Desmond Ridder play. For weeks, I've told you on this show that I want to see Desmond Ridder play over Gardner Minshew. And Desmond Ridder came into the game there, and he was under siege the second he came into the game. But I'd like to see Aiden O'Connell play the rest of the way. And if a guy like Daniel Jones wanted to be here and was brought in because he thinks he could get the job next year, and he proves in the building that he could play and he's an upgrade, I'm always up for that. You know me. I want the team to get better. I said Aaron Rodgers is going to play somewhere else. I think Aaron Rodgers has got something left in the tank, even though you probably don't agree. We don't all have to agree on this. But what we need to start agreeing on is no one has any bleeping idea what's going to happen in April. So we got to fill this show with some content along the way. And that traditionally is talking about the games and talking about the aftermath of what happened. So the Raiders didn't choke this game against Denver. They didn't choke it. They just lost it again because whichever thing could go wrong in a game has gone wrong in every game this year. If you say what can go wrong right now in the third quarter with 11 minutes, it happens. If you can say what can go wrong at the start of the fourth quarter, it happens. And it just continues to happen. I don't think the players are being coached up to make mistakes. The professional coaches there are doing everything they can to put these players in the right situation. But I think we can have an open debate and conversation on why the team is struggling so much. I gave you the injuries. We talked about that. The coaching changes, the philosophy of what they're trying to do. Like, I'm more furious today than I've been in the last couple of losses because of the checkdowns. I'm sitting there in my seats and sitting in the booth, and it's 3rd and 11, and we're checking down on 4-yard passes. You know me by now. You know me. I worry about a couple of things in the game. Number one, the clock. I'm always on the clock for you. I'm always looking at the play clock. I'm looking at the game clock, but the play clock. And I'm always in amazement that this professional football team cannot run plays on time with a sense of urgency. Is it getting better with Scott and North Turner? Yes. Yes, the communication is better. The offensive line is improving. The offensive line is actually getting a little bit better. But the problem is some of the athletes on the offensive line get thrown around like rag dolls. They just get thrown. And then the next thing you know, you're like, whoa, wait a second. It's 3rd and 7. We got a chance to run a play, and an offensive lineman is just getting thrown backwards into the quarterback. Whoa, that's got to stop. Let's figure out who's going to be on this offensive line going forward, who can plant the back end of their foot, get their hands up, and hold someone for like 2.5, 3 seconds. Because you can't run a play. You cannot run a deep play. You can't do it. But the checking down is incredible to me. I don't know how a team that has 2 wins can check down on 3rd down, ever. I'm not talking sometimes. I'm talking all the time. It is so difficult for this team to throw the ball to the 1st down marker. My mind is blown. Every time it's 3rd and 7, 8, 12, 14, 15, the pass is thrown underneath. And I'm like, what are we doing? Throw it 17 yards. You might get a flag. You might have someone like Brock go up and get the ball. You check down underneath, punt. So is that going to change the season? No, the season's lost. Now I want to see some better plays, some more aggressive plays. They can't throw the deep ball. They just can't. I'm not saying they don't want to throw the deep ball. I think North Turner and Scott want to throw the deep ball. They can't do it. They physically cannot throw a deep pass. Pretty remarkable. This is the NFL. If you watch college football on Saturday, every pass is 60 yards, 40 yards, 30 yards. This is the NFL, and the team struggles throwing the deep ball. Why is that? We give you the analysis every week. They can't block up front well. The quarterback doesn't have enough time. The quarterback, which was Gardner Minshew, gets spooked, doesn't stay in the pocket long enough, goes to the right and throws it out of bounds or throws an interception. So with all of that happening, what do you want to do? You want to run the football and go home? Do you want to check down on 3rd down? I want to beat Kansas City, even if you love the draft pick. Again, your favorite poster. You have a poster of a player you want with no face, no number. We don't know who it is. You all assume that Shedeur Sanders is coming here because he tweets after every Raider loss, the emoji prayer. He wants to come here, which is great. I'd love to see him here. I'd love to see Cam Ward here. Milroe, I love him out of Alabama, even though Alabama lost. Sometimes college quarterbacks don't have good games. Not all of them have a Heisman game every weekend. So there's going to be plenty of college quarterbacks for me to break down with you. But I think the veteran quarterback, which I don't want any more like you do. Let me get that out and clear in 3, 2, and 1 in a promo. I don't want to bring in the veteran quarterback either. That's not my priority. My priority would get the young college football stud quarterback, the stud, and bring him here, park him for a year. Oh, we ain't playing that kid. Whoever that kid is, he ain't playing. He ain't starting. That's a kiss of death in this league now. You take a kid and you throw him in week 1. And then if you have a guy like Aiden O'Connell or Daniel Jones or whoever it is, Sam Darnold as a bridge quarterback, and then you break in the rookie and he's ready by week 7 or 8, you're not going to sit the rookie the whole year. But you play him in week 7 or 8. I'm good with that. But I'm good with that around March and April. I'm not good with that before Thanksgiving. So with all that being said, it is a different season than we're seeing now. This season has been just a horror show once the game begins. Because from what I can tell you, and I think Q and Vinny Sapienza, who's on the show, who's in the locker room, and other people around there, we can all tell you respectfully, even though you don't like certain coaches or this or that the team is pretty much together because they're led by Max Crosby. So if you lied about this and said the team was fractured and the team was this, you'd be lying, and you would never say that to Max Crosby's face. You wouldn't go up to Max Crosby at the Raiders Tavern and Grill and say, hey, Max, I want you to lose every game. And Max, the locker room sucks. You wouldn't do that. You'd ask for an autograph. You would in a selfie, but you wouldn't do that to Max. And that's all I've tried to say on this show. Act respectful about the players and the coaches who are trying to win. Yesterday, the Raiders were trying to beat the Denver Broncos. I thought they played really hard. I think you should be proud of the team's effort. But what does that get you? It got you another loss. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what happened in the game, what your experiences were at the game, any criticism you have that's fair and not personal. And then we got a radio show. We'll have a short week, and I hope they beat Kansas City. You think I'm really freaking out if the Raiders get 3 wins over 2 wins? You're going to sit around every week and say, I want them to stop and lose every game? You know that you're not going to get that from me. If the Raiders were going to win one more game, I think you'd want it to be Kansas City, right? I think you would like to have them win back-to-back seasons in Kansas City. But I don't know unless you let me know. 702-365-9200. I got all the sound bites from the game. Some of them are highlights. Some of them are lowlights. Sammy Hagar, good to see Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony perform. That was fun. The military's unbelievable, man. I must have shook 20 hands of servicemen and women. Some re-enlisted before the game. They were on the sideline. I met a colonel who was there near the torch, a colonel in the Army who was there. That was a pretty high honor. And the Raiders did such a good job with everything they did for Salute to Service. I thought that was fantastic. Very proud to be associated with the Raiders with their military connection. It was a good thing, really good thing. So the game was overall great. Friday night, I went to dinner with the Black Hole and the Rivera family. Black Hole Rob passed away a few years ago. We honored him this weekend. Rachel and the girls came in, so we went to a beautiful dinner with everybody, and nice to see everybody without their costumes on. Love them. Love when they're out there. Rilla, Senior, the whole crew, Violator, having dinner with Violator, talking football and talking about life. It was really good. So with all this happening, there was a lot of good that happened. Going to F1 was fun. It was my birthday Saturday. Had a nice group that showed up with me that I didn't know about for an event. I had a pretty good weekend overall until the game because I don't enjoy losing. I'm cranky Yankee. I get cranky when the Raiders lose. And I went up to the booth with Jason Horowitz and Lincoln Kennedy, and the team had a chance. I mean, the defense was getting field goals, and they were getting off the field, but they were on the field way too long. It's a tough time when the offense goes 3 and out. I thought that Jacoby Myers had a great game, and Trey Tucker had a really good game. And how about the play of some of the other players overall who showed up and played? Tyree Wilson, that's a big storyline. He's playing well. I talked about that today on Raiders Roundtable with Eric Allen. This is a make or break year for Tyree Wilson, and I think he made it. I think he's made it into next year because if he didn't play well this year, you just can't bring him back. I know he's a high draft pick, but we've said goodbye to a lot of high draft picks around here. Cleve Farrell, Alex Leatherwood, Damon Arnett. The list goes on and on. I thought Tyree Wilson, if he didn't get his act together, you look at him and say, look, you're a big guy. You got a lot of talent, but you don't do much. He's doing a lot. So that's a positive sign. The offensive line overall that I like the offensive line. I think they're getting better. I like that the play caller is throwing more passes than just running it into the pile, which was a problem around here. I just wish they would take more shots. I wish they'd play more aggressive, a little bit faster. That's it. We'll go from here on that. So there's a lot of other news around the NFL. For the Raiders, I think the quarterback quandary is big now because I wasn't into lining up Gardner Minshew every week and just, quote, air quotes, let him play. I was done with that. I think a lot of people were too. What are we going to do? Let Gardner play again? Throws a costly interception. But Gardner Minshew got injured, and I want to wish him the best in his recovery as a Raider who was injured. He got injured playing football, putting his body on the line for you. No one can say that Gardner Minshew was not a competitor, not a tough guy. He's an undersized guy, takes a lot of hits, took a lot of hits this year. Didn't play well. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play well. I was hoping he'd play well too. I hope Aiden O'Connell plays well. But if you don't play well at quarterback here, even if your team isn't great, you will not be here. This team needs an infusion of quarterback elite talent. And it's hard to get an elite quarterback unless you want to pay. The money's no option. I really don't think the money's an issue. If Dak Prescott was available, if Aaron Rodgers was available, Daniel Jones available, I don't think it's going to be a money issue at all. Even though they passed on Russell Wilson, who had only been $1 million, only $1 million. But I think the Raiders want to get a young, great, athletic quarterback who can run and run out of trouble. And I think they're going to do that. I just don't know who the player is going to be. We have an idea of who we'd like it to be, and we'll see what happens, but that's a long way away. So we're going to spend today talking about the Denver game. Fair criticism, what changes you would like to see, what you thought of the game if you went. And that would be a great way to wrap up today's show before I do my 3 hours tonight nationally, and there's a lot to talk about nationally in the NFL. Cowboys beat Jaden Daniels. Carolina almost beat Kansas City. I can tell you that. Philadelphia looks great. Looks like we got a countdown to Detroit, Philadelphia in the NFC Championship. The Niners got boat raced in Green Bay, but they got excuses. They're injured there overall. The Giants didn't show up again. So you go around this league. I mean, Tennessee got a win no one expected. What happened to Houston? So if you were in a survivor pool and if you gambled on a game that something happened, let us know, and we'll get you here today. So that's where I'm going. It's the aftermath of the Raiders' loss. Don't think all of it was bad, but to me, a loss is a loss. There's nothing good that comes out of a loss until now where people think we're going to get a better draft pick, and we are. We all know that. I've been around for a lot of high draft picks that turned out to be busts. So I want a high draft pick like you do. I do. But the difference between me and most people is I want that high draft pick at the end of the year. I don't want it now. So you might say, what the hell is he talking about? The only way we're going to get a high draft pick is losing. Okay, I would agree with you, but I'm not a loser. I don't talk about losing on the radio. I talk about winning on the radio. And if they end up losing, I handle the loss and we move on. So that's what we're going to do today. So I want to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving. If you're hitting the road early, we will be here for you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off on Thanksgiving. And then the game is on Friday. And same program, pre- and post-game show, Compass Media Networks, Raider Nation Radio. Stevie G in the Big O of Oaktown. Start us off.
Hey, JT, how you doing?
Doing good, thanks.
Excellent. Hey, I think, well, first off, I like AP. I like the fact that the team isn't fractured. I like the fact that the defense, with all the injuries, the young guys are coming in, they're learning, they're playing, they're growing. You mentioned Tyree Wilson. I see him growing. I see him improving and getting better. Obviously, the depth in the secondary was just decimated, and so now they're down to like third-string players. So we'll have to deal with that. Quarterback-wise, I hope the best for Gardner Minshew. I hope he gets healthy and recovers as best he can. I'm not against him being on the Raiders team. I don't think he's the starter for the team, but I'm not against him being with the Raiders going forward. What I'd like to see is obviously whatever happens with the quarterback position, that we do find our guy. We do find someone who's able to get the ball down the field and push it. I think Minshew, that just might not be his skill set when it really comes down to it. He just had a lot of issues trying to get his feet set without having to jump up, throw all over the place. I think that's part of the problem is he's just not able to do some things with his skill set. With Aiden O'Connell, he has a strong arm. So, JT, to your point, I think we're going to start to see some downfield throws with him coming back, or even if it's Desmond Ridder with a strong arm, I think you'll see some downfield throws going forward. I don't know about who they'll pick up in free agency or whatever's going with the waiver wire. That's up to whatever happens with the GM and whatever they're thinking about. But I like the fact that the team, though, is not fractured. We heard about it with McDaniels, how fractured it was becoming, and we heard those rumors out throughout. You're not hearing that with AP, and I think that's a strong point that shows that I think as an organization, you're asking them to begin a year as head coach, and the quarterback position was definitely not, fulfilled or finished. It wasn't a finished product.
Yeah, he did. Antonio Pierce, I call him coach, had a season so far, and he's coaching hard. He's coaching really hard that he didn't have a quarterback healthy. He didn't have the ability to have a fair chance with a quarterback, and the team's been decimated. Once Malcolm Kuntz and Christian Wilkins went down in EPS for the year, season was over. Defensively, there was no way they could manage that and become a playoff team. They could have been competitive. They just lost too many starters there, and most coaches would like to have an elite quarterback or a high-end quarterback to work with, and Antonio Pierce did not have that. It's unfortunate because the Raiders are in a quandary trying to get that young quarterback for the future.
Right. And so we'll see what happens in the future. I'm for what we're trying to do, which is let's win each game. Let's go out there. Let's play these young guys. Let them see where we are. And let's see the health and heart of the team. The only thing I can say I'm disappointed in is the fact that one shock seems to decimate them and they're not able to recover. That's the thing that maybe disappoints me the most. But I think maybe with the experience of these kids being in the games more, that's going to be improving too. I mean, we lasted until, I guess it's consistent. Into the fourth quarter, we're still there, still competitive, and then the brakes fall off at some point. But I think if we get more offensive balance, I think the defense's stamina will be there to carry out through the rest of the game. Anyway, hey, thanks for everything. I'm still going for the Raiders and all the way for the wins, not for the draft. Because we've seen the drafts that don't yield great choices versus the ones where, hey, like one year, I think the Raiders were the number one pick. They drafted Jamarcus Russell. The next year, it was Matt Stafford that came out number one overall. So no draft guarantees you that you're going to get that player or whatever it is going to be. So let's win, and then we'll see where we are as we think about it.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, JT.
Thank you, and have a great holiday. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. That's adult radio, big boy radio. As we said, trying to win games that are in front of you. Try to compete because the coaches and players, this is their livelihood. And you're very ignorant and very stupid. And I'm talking in general, not to you directly. That would be me or anybody in the media who thinks a coach and a player wants to lose. If you say that, you're just hanging around people who are clueless. But if you could say like that caller just did, we want to win, they want to win, they're competing. We'll see where the record stands and go from there next year. That's kind of where we're at. We all know where we're at there. The Raiders are not going to be competitive this year when it comes to wins and losses. They could be competitive in games, put up a good product, cost a lot of money to go to these games. I had people in town who wanted to get tickets and they couldn't get tickets, and they know me. And I had to find a way to get them tickets, and they're not cheap. And at least when you go to a game, you want to see an entertaining game. If the Raiders aren't going to win, you'd like to see a 34-31 shootout. You'd like to enjoy yourself, have fun. You go to a movie, you don't want to go to a dud. You want to go to an action adventure and walk out there and say, it wasn't the greatest movie I've ever been to, but it was entertaining. That's what I've been saying to you on this platform all year long. All I want is to see fun, entertaining football. And what I think our big analysis is about is we can't figure out why they can't play normally fun and entertaining football. Why does the wheels have to come off? Why does it have to be leading the league in turnover differential? Why does it have to be dead last in rushing? It doesn't have to be that way. It could be a little bit improved and you'd be more competitive and have more wins. But that's not the story of this season. Monologue brought to you by PT's. Best happy hour in town, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. I'll be at the new Great American Pub this week for a little light retirement party for Jay Cornegay, the longtime leader of the Westgate Sportsbook. So I'm excited at that. That's a PT's Golden Entertainment property. We got a big show coming up. Mark Anderson will join us a little bit later, and Sam Munson coming up in about 30 minutes. All right. You lower that a little bit. Yeah. All right.
I'll call in.
Yeah, I had to put a couple little clowns in timeout. You know, you take a personal shot at my YouTube page and me. What do you want to just have free run of the chat? No, you'll end up dying in the chat. You'll be banned. You know, I've been doing this long enough where I'm trying to do a job here, and I don't want to deal with like 11-year-old kids, you know, screaming at everybody. Come on, man. I like putting kids in timeout, man. I was never a teacher. My wife was a teacher. If I was a teacher, I'd be putting everybody in timeout, man. I love timeout.
Well, that's why we've launched our Safe Teen Driving Essay Contest. Students can enter to win a 2024 Volkswagen.
Excuse me one second. I just gotta text one of our guests.
Just by sharing what safe driving means to them. Let's make our road safer, one essay at a time. Visit salmonashlaw.com/.
There we go.
And enter by December 21st.
For over 85 years, Labor's Local 872 in Las Vegas have teamed up to change the world of entertainment.
Anybody hear that Eric Allen press conference? It was really fun. Mike, good to see you, Mike. Very frustrated. Just want to win. Always a fan. Handing out cigars at the tailgate. Mike, they make me go in too early now, man. I don't get a chance to tailgate as long. I apologize for that. Yeah, Big D, the brick tater. The brick father. Yeah. No, I like everybody. Big D knows me. We've been friends a long time. I get along with everybody. I love doing what I do for a living. I just despise trolls. The trolls are the people that I actually can control now with the way my social media is set up. I've been blocking people and just banning people. It's great because they never get heard from again. You never, ever hear from them again. You never see them. You never hear them. They don't show up. It's great. They're gone. It's like poof. But I want to be friends with everybody, man. I want to buy everybody a Modelo. I want to buy everybody a Modelo.
This guy's kind of a dud. I'm going to put him on anymore.
All right. We'll probably go through the sound that we have. Knock that out. ATL Calvin, what's happening?
Say, kid, we're going to get you up in the segment. Be ready, okay, kid?
Yeah, I thought that pass interference on Bowers in the end zone was brutal. Brutal. It basically tackled him. Yeah, Sam will be calling us.
I'm going to hold his arm. I'm going to hold my hands.
The president-elect has declared that he might use the United States Armed Forces for the purpose of mass deportations. If you are in immigration proceedings, you might be deported without legal representation, and thousands of families might be exposed to the possibility of forced separation. Time to act is now.
Please hit the like button. We have a lot of people in here that haven't hit the like button. I'd appreciate it if you did that. Thank you.
Contact bestimmigrationlawyer.com, a division of Paul Paddle Law at 702-707-2000.
Yeah, Big D, I like Daytona better than F1, but F1's pretty special, man. I mean, Daytona's massive for NASCAR. This is just a different sport. It's just much bigger than NASCAR. It's just much more international. It's just more, I don't want to say just more expensive, which is obvious. It's just different. It's more star-studded than NASCAR. Knicks is good. I'm going to get into that when we come back out. All right, Bobby, I'm going to go through these live reads, kind of. I'm not saying you have to do every one, but you just.
I got to write them down and keep track of them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PG, the best happy hour in town.
Pierce talking about O'Connell.
And midnight to 2 a.m.
I mean, these guys are getting in the building late today. We'll have rehab and all that stuff, so it'll be a late day for us. Really won't be able to practice this week. Be walkthroughs for the most part. So just seeing him, able to grip the ball, comfortable, hopefully no pain there, and just being able to be efficient. To put a player out there that's, hurting or injured still, that's not in the benefit of the player, our team.
Antonio Pierce on the status of Aiden O'Connell. See if he can grip the ball coming off that thumb injury, hand injury. We don't know how severe it is or what's happening now. So we'll wait for the Raiders to tell us about it. We're brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, my original vodka. Go with the Tito's whenever you need one. The original handmade vodka, proud partner of our show, Tito's. What a job that they do. Wherever you go, anywhere around this country, ask for Tito's, and they will make sure you have the best handmade crafted vodka you ever had. Tito's, we appreciate their partnership here on the show. So if you want to get through, 702-365-9200, the aftermath. We're not even in Thanksgiving. And, a lot of Raider fans, I wouldn't say you've checked out. You just need a reason or reasons to call in. That's my job. So we can do the entire show without calls. No problem. We want to hear from fans who are frustrated, encouraged, and can see a path going forward here because you're the customers. You're the fans. You're the people that pay the salaries of the players. Your opinion means everything to me. Now, for those who complain, well, you're too quick. You hang up on calls. Yeah, I'm going to hang up on bad calls. I'm going to do that. I'm going to continue to do that. If people have great calls, they'll have nicknames, they'll be famous, we'll buy them chicken wings and beer. We take pride in who we put on the air. So we'd like to see some people with some energy and have solutions and move the show forward. So this week is a really easy phone week for me and Bobby because anybody calling in should be talking about the Chiefs and the Swifties and how to stop the insanity of Kansas City being a dynasty. That to me is a pretty simple week for us, man. You just turn the radio on. And we want to beat the Chiefs. And the Chiefs have not looked good this year, man. The Chiefs should have lost at least 4 games, and they only have 1 game that they lost, which is pretty remarkable. Let's begin with some of the sound bites from yesterday. Max Crosby, an absolute tackling machine, more milestones from Mad Max.
Hicks hands it off to Williams, and he's gobbled up right away. Max Crosby back at the 29, and for Max Crosby, an historic tackle for loss. That is number 100 in his career. He joins J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, and DeMarcus Ware as the only players with 100 tackles for loss in their first 6 years.
That's incredible stat. Jason Horowitz on all these calls. So the tackle, think of all the sacks that he's not been able to get that were tackles for losses, right? He's going to come around the edge, either tackles, a running back or a receiver on a jet sweep behind the line of scrimmage. Max has unlimited energy. I mentioned Tyree Wilson. It's good that he's starting to pop. He had a big sack.
There's the snap. Nix looking to throw. Pressure up the middle. And he's sacked! Tyree Wilson with the late pressure. He's got a sack in back-to-back weeks. And they drop Nix for a loss of 11.
Very important to get him going. He's a very important piece on this team. He's got to be playing at a Pro Bowl level at some point. It wasn't his rookie year. It's not this year, but he's getting better, which I find very encouraging. Amir Abdullah is a good player in this league. He's been asked to do more because Zamir White was out of the game. Also, Alexander Madison. I thought he's played well. He's playing with a lot of pop, a lot of energy, leader of the team.
Broncos, here they come with a blitz. Minshew. Out to his right. He's got a man open. It's Abdullah at the 20, near sideline 15, and he's shoved out of bounds by Cooper at the 11. Man, oh man, is Amir Abdullah having a game. He picks up the first down, 1st and 10, Las Vegas.
He had a good game. There's a couple players who played well in this game, no doubt. After a Daniel Carlson field goal made it 10-6. They had the lead at 10-6. Don't want to get field goals there. You got to go up by touchdowns. Lutz's field goal made it 10-9. And then we move on in the second quarter. Jacoby Myers had himself a day.
It's picked up. He steps up, throws to the near sideline. Oh, what a catch! Jacoby Myers at the 34-yard line of the Broncos. He was drilled by P.J. Locke, but he didn't separate him from the football. And he picks up a massive gain to the Broncos' 36-yard line. It's a pickup of about 20 and a first down.
Yeah, this is the type of game like Devontae Adams would have when Devontae was really good here. Jacoby is fitting into that role to be a number 1 when he's called on. Carlson hit another field goal to make it 13-9. They had the lead, again, 10-6, 13-9. We're not talking about the Raiders trailing, but then we moved to the third quarter where Bo Nix started to step up again. I'll tell you, Cortland Sutton's a hell of a wide receiver in this league.
Here comes a blitz. He floats to the near corner of the end zone looking for Sutton. Jump ball back right pylon. Touchdown, Broncos. He caught it over the shoulder of Jack Jones, brought it into his chest. Denver capitalizes on the Minshew pick, and the Broncos have the lead, 15-13, with 10:49 to go in the third.
Sutton was very good with his touchdown catches. They were both difficult, really difficult touchdowns. he was able to pull it off. But, Sutton there, but then Daniel Carlson, who had a big day. These were not easy kicks. This is a 53-yarder that cut it to 3.
Good snap. Good hold. Kick is up. And it is good. Carlson capitalizes on his 3rd field goal of the ball game, and it's back to a field goal game. Broncos 19, Raiders 16, 8:59 to go.
8:15. Look at the score. You hear the score. You hear the play-by-play, boys. Raiders are in the game, but the second touchdown to Sutton was pretty much the icebreaker here for Denver. Now Denver made it a 2-score game, and it was pretty much over.
It's caught. Touchdown, Cortland Sutton. He was streaking across the back of the end zone, and he got both feet down inbounds on the back right side. His second touchdown grab of the day, and the Broncos, with 5:30 to go, are up by 2 scores.
Yeah, it's a 2-score game, just like Miami. Just like Miami. It's a 1-score game, then it's a 2-score game. You look at the score and say, really? I thought the Raiders were even in the whole game, or maybe ahead, and then that happens. And I won't say the wheels came off. The wheels didn't come off. Just Denver was better, and they put it away, and they were able to win the game. And they won the game because they made more plays in the passing game. No doubt about that. Gardner got injured in the game. Here's the play with the injury. He's out for the year.
Yeah, with Minshew left shoulder there, well, no more, but doesn't look good. And Bo Nix is a pretty good football player. He showed up again today. He made some plays, made the throws they needed to. Bought time with his legs, backing up, avoiding pressure. We got to him early. I thought did a good job of trying to disrupt him. We did. The mindset was to be aggressive, and I thought we did do that. But when they had to make a play, he made plays for him.
All right, so that's a little bit of Antonio Pierce. He had a press conference today. We'll probably play 4 or 5 minutes of it. I'd like to get to Eric Allen's. It was really cool that Eric Allen spoke today. I did not know that. We taped the TV show earlier today, Raiders Roundtable. I wasn't aware of that. I left to come back here to host. And Eric was obviously in there going to meet the media, which was fantastic. M-Ride it to the game. The luxury service that will get you there, led by Teo Johnson and my buddy Eddie. They will get you to the games on time. It's a fantastic way to get there. You have my promo code BRICK. That's mridelv.com. Use the promo code BRICK to get to the stadium.
Previously on Unnecessary Roughness.
Got the right GM in place. I mean, just think about this draft alone and go back to previous drafts and how many misses there were. The first 3 picks are all starters, and Brock is a star. And you've got 2 starters along the offensive line, and you got a guy in the 4th round, DeCam Richardson, getting some burn already. I feel like it's definitely trending in the right direction when it comes to Tom Telesco and selecting the talent on the team.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
Yep. Shannon says wanting to lose this year to get a quarterback next year is like not picking up a chick in the bar because there might be a better one in 6 months. Yep.
Christmas is upon us once again, and every store is fighting for your business. Let's truly enjoy this Christmas. Life is too short. Spoil your loved ones. Spoil yourself. Make this the best Christmas ever. Let's crush our competition and make sure.
Man, the Niners are in a boatload of hurt.
50% off everything in the store. Plus, use our
You got that Gerard Mayo soundbite? God, what is he doing? He's definitely going to get fired. Done. You can't say that.
That kind of quote, hell yeah.
Yeah, he's out. And he's 100% out. That's a big job, the Patriots job, man. If they fire Gerard Mayo and the new coach gets Drake May to work with,
Who's the new coach?
oh, I mean, it could be the play caller. It could be the play. It could be the play caller for the Lions. It could be,
Offensive coordinator.
it's gonna be an offensive coordinator that gets elevated, no doubt. Gerard Mayo said once they basically go out on the field, there's nothing he can do. Once the players start the game, it's up to them. No, I got to give it a reference. I got to give it some reference. Yeah. It's a Monday. I can do 5 hours on radio. So this is 45 minutes into the 5 hours. Thanksgiving's an interesting holiday because it's a really good holiday to shut it down and enjoy the food and enjoy the football and all that. It just gets cold here in Vegas for the first time.
Yeah.
A little bit cold.
And the fire starts next week.
Yeah. I got a nice fireplace inside my house that goes outside, and it's nice to start running the fire at night. Have a cigar, run the fire, do that.
Tequila was developed in the relentless pursuit of perfection with a deep passion for agave.
What else in the chat? What else you want to ask? What else you want to talk about? Raiders Roundtable is a TV show that I think it airs right around now, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in Vegas on Fox.
Speaking of which, what's the deal with Wednesday?
Wednesday, here's the deal. Wednesday, we're supposed to get Coach at 11:10. If I get him on time, I'll come here. If I run,
So there's no rundown.
no, we already recorded a holiday show for it. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
So that's the case. All right.
Yeah. So if Coach is on time, then I'll be able to get here.
Yeah.
If Coach is running a little bit late, I'll have to do it from Raiders. We'll do that.
Yeah, you can text me, let me know.
Yeah. 90% of all Super Bowls have been won by pocket passers. Is that accurate? Big D reminds us that Lee Sterling is 1-1 so far.
There's always one guy that's going to remind you.
Miami Beach is right on the strip to bring you a true
Okay, so that bill, we got about 6 minutes.
serving USDA prime steaks, quality seafood, and
They're showing Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh.
defined by a standard of hospitality for over a century. Inside the forums at Caesars, Joe's offers guests an experience that is perfect for lunch, after-work cocktails, social gatherings, to late-night dining. From private, semi-private dining for both intimate and large party gatherings.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show.
Brought to you by Comisario Tequila, the official tequila of the JT the Brick Show.
Minshew escapes the pocket out to the right, looking for Abdullah over the shoulder. Touchdown Raiders! What a catch! Amir Abdullah on the right corner of the end zone. Snatched that on his right shoulder. What a grab! Raiders have the lead. 84 seconds into the second.
Yeah, that Raider touchdown brought to you by Tequila Comisario, the most awarded tequila. A proud partner of our show, 100% all natural, handcrafted tequilas. It's the Ferrari of tequila. That's a nice segue for me because I got a chance to sit in the paddock with the Ferrari team and part of the day. My main seats were F1, were over at the Sphere. But during the day, when they opened it up at 4:30, we were able to go into the Ferrari area and watch that technology and what they're doing. Wow. I mean, I thought I knew a little bit about F1, not much, but to go into their pits and to see all the technology that they have there. So for everybody who questions the infrastructure or what's going to happen with Ferrari and F1 here in Vegas for decades to come, they're going nowhere. They're going to stay here because of all the money invested into Vegas with F1. I went to the Ludacris concert. My wife knew every song to Ludacris with my buddy and his girlfriend and everybody there. That was a lot of fun. The anthem was great. We just had a good time walking around there. The ticket prices varied. The area that we were in included all your food, all your non-alcoholic beverages. Problem, Bobby, is I had a bunch of guys that wanted to have a bunch of cocktails. So every time you go buy a cocktail, in this town now, I don't care where you're at. You're at a steakhouse, you're at a concert, wherever you want. Try going up and buying 4 cocktails or doubles anywhere in Vegas and tell me what you get out of there with. I encourage everybody to drink responsibly, but we got a lot of proud partners on the show. And man, but that was fun. That was fun at F1. And will I go again? Yeah, I'd go again in a minute. Fantastic time there. It was really cool. So my secret Uber spot is the McDonald's on Paradise. On Paradise there. So you got to walk out of the Sphere. That's where we were. And then you walk a couple blocks, you get to that McDonald's, then you hit your Uber, and they're all there. Because if you have to wait for the ride share over at Sphere, around there, I can't tell you how many people were walking out of that area where I sat on their phones looking for ride share. A lot of people in this town, the cabbies and especially those who drive Lyft and Ubers. Thank God for them. I don't know how anybody would get around this town. No one's trying to drive everywhere. So I thought that was going to be much a bigger problem. It wasn't that big of a problem overall. It's pretty good to get around. Oh, and I want to thank Cliff Atkinson and the entire team at Virgin Hotels because I stayed there over the weekend. For my birthday weekend. They were kind enough to hook me up, and I stayed there, went to One Steak with Johnny O'Donnell. A lot of my buddies showed up there for a toast, and we had a great time at Virgin. So that was a lot of fun, from the shag room to the restaurants. Was able to walk to the paddock there. Virgin's got a lot of new things happening there. So next time you're on that side of the strip, go to Virgin Hotels and see everything that's going on here. All right, a couple of sound bites I wanted to get to. First, this is Gerard Mayo, who's the head coach of the New England Patriots. He's going to get fired for what he says here. He's basically throwing in the towel. He's defeated. He's a former player, really good player, tough guy. And now I don't think he believes in his players anymore as the head coach of the New England Patriots.
Look, it's always, look, once those guys cross the white lines, there's nothing I can do for them. There's nothing any coach can do for them once they cross the white line. It's my job to continue to prepare not only them, but our coaches to go out here and play better football.
Yeah, you can't say that. You can't say once the game starts that there's nothing you can do as a coach. Sorry, then you're out. So the Patriots are going to look for a new head coach. He's been a disaster. He has not been a good coach. Everybody in New England used to Bill Belichick. You used to Bill Belichick. You used to great coaching. But I think the worst comments that were made was Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver of the Giants. This is terrible. He's a rookie. He's a rookie. The Giants are awful and playing poorly. He called his own team, his organization, soft. And I think that's conduct detrimental to the team.
What words today would you use to describe this loss?
Selfish.
How disappointed are you?
Very.
What are you most disappointed about?
I mean, it's over, man. I'm tired of going out there and losing. Like, it's just that. I mean, I don't know, bro.
He's a very good player. I believe he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem because what happens in New York or Philly or Boston, when you show a little chink in your armor, when you tell the media my team's soft, then more people go to your locker. Then more media comes. And they're like, wait, this kid's just talking. Let me get a soundbite. And that's what's going to happen there. What's happened with the Giants is incredible. I was in the building today over at the Raiders headquarters. And look, I wasn't talking to coaches and Tom Telesco, but I believe that Daniel Jones is a possibility because here's why. I've been very critical of him. So everything that I've said about it, I take nothing back. But I will tell you he's a unique athlete. He's a very good athlete overall. And if he plays at a high level, the only reason why he would want to come to the Raiders is not for this year. It's not. It's to be in the building to try to compete for next year. So if the Raiders draft a quarterback, which we all expect them to do very high in the first round, that quarterback's not going to start. So if you had Daniel Jones start and he was a great teammate in the building and a good mentor, that makes sense to me. But maybe you think that mentor could be Aiden O'Connell because Aiden O'Connell plays well down the stretch. Jimmy Garoppolo was a great teammate. You know when Jimmy Garoppolo was hurt, every time Aiden scored, he ran down to the end zone, gave the guy a high five. He was a great teammate. No one ever questioned Jimmy G as a teammate. But there's a lot of good teammates in the league now. We need to find players that can put this organization on their back and win games. And I think they have a few of them in the building. But the secondary was decimated by injuries. I thought they held up pretty well. I mean, look, the secondary could have gave up 5 touchdowns. They gave up a bunch of field goals, which meant Bo Nixon, Sean Payton couldn't get the ball in the end zone. They were able to move it across the middle of the field pretty easily. But I thought they got off the field when they had to, held Denver to some field goals. And that could have been the difference in the game. That could have been the difference in the game. But it wasn't the difference in the game because the Raiders really struggle on offense. Their offense isn't good. They don't score points. They don't attack the end zone. They don't. And they want to stay in games and hang around games and hope that the defense can win it. Because when you can't run the ball and you're checking down all day and you're not throwing it into the end zone, I mean, what else did I miss? You can't run it. You don't throw it in the end zone. You don't play fast enough, but you want to win. Well, you must want to win with the defense because the offense, as much as they want to be different, struggles to score points. They're going to have to score some points in Kansas City. Maybe some points on defense. Thanks to everybody on YouTube. We'll have Sam Munson coming up next. He's always great.
All all season. Listen to Monday Night.
All right, everybody. I got some interviews here on the back end. I usually don't put them up on YouTube, so appreciate everybody being here. Thanks to everybody as always. We'll be on YouTube again Tuesday and Wednesday, and 100%. I'm doing a live stream this week, so we'll do one of these in a different time slot to see if we can get some different people in there too. Appreciate you very much. If I don't get a chance to talk to you, have a great holiday week here, and good luck going into Thanksgiving.